Hi everyone.
Good afternoon.
We are here. My name is Marcel. We're here from Casa, desde, ciclistas in Medellín, in Colombia, and we're gonna do a little talk with my friend Ivan about bicycle touring and other stuffs. Ivan, I would like to ask you first of all, I would like to ask you a thing. Tell us a little bit about the difference between bikepacking and bike touring. What is this?
Well, I've only done bicycle touring, cycle touring we call it, but now lots of people, they use different bags. They don't carry a lot of weight, and this is called bikepacking. They use the frame bag and a bag here on the handlebars, and they don't carry as much weight, but still carry all the essentials. So it's I would say it's the modern way of how people are travelling now, because it's less weight. Makes it easier.
This is very interesting because, well, I'm not a bike traveler. I'm just a great fan, and I got the privilege of living here near the Casa, desde, ciclista biker house, a refugee for bike travelers, bike tourists. So I would like to ask you, please, Ivan, tell us a little bit about you and your experience as a traveler.
Well, I did some trips at Christmas time with my friend backpacking. We saved all the holidays every year so we could go away for 5 weeks at Christmas, one big holiday. And then my friend just suggested, why don't we do it on a bicycle instead of catching trains and buses, and then we can do everything ourselves. No timetable, no schedule. So the first time we did it, I was around 40 years old, 42 years old, and we did the Ho Chi Minh Trail. We flew from England to Vietnam to Hanoi, and we didn't take our own bicycle. We bought a cheap mountain bike, and we cycled through Laos and Cambodia to Ho Chi Minh City in 5 weeks. It was 1,500 miles, and that was it. It was so fantastic that in them days we didn't have smartphones and navigation apps. We had to use paper maps, and every night we had to guess. We didn't have the phones with internet. We had to hope we could find a guest house to stay, because we was only travelling with a small rucksack. We wasn't travelling with all the panniers and the proper cycle touring, as I call it. And what inspired me was I met a man just in a small village who'd been travelling the world for 5.5 years, and he only lived 4 miles away from where I lived, and he was 56 years old, and I just thought, wow, age isn't a barrier. If you're healthy, age doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, can I ask you your age?
I'm 59. Well, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be 60 years old. So, if you're healthy, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Great, it's great. I just wrote a few questions here because Ivan's story seems very impressive to me, and I'd like to ask you another thing, Ivan. How long have you been traveling, and then how many countries have you been visiting?
My trip started, I just took 6 months away from work, and I wanted to cycle to Greece, get the ferry to Italy and just cycle back home. 6 months. My boss let me have 6 months off work and said, in 6 months just return to work. And it was something I always wanted to do. I was 56 years old when I set off and thought, yeah, I have to do this before I get too old. I didn't want to have a regret that I never did something I always wanted to do. So I set off, and when I arrived in Greece, in Athens, it took me 3 months to get there, and I discovered my best friend had passed away. And I just thought, why do I go on to work? Why am I returning? Life is short, you never know what will happen. So I turned around and kept going, and now it's a little more than 3 years that I've been travelling now. So, and I don't know when I'll stop. I'll stop when the money finishes, but or when I get fed up, whichever comes first. But I don't get fed up because I meet so many nice, kind people along the way, and it just keeps me going. So I want to keep going.
It's almost a lifestyle.
Yeah. I've been living in the tent for a lot of the time, but since I got to mainland Mexico and Central America, I haven't used the tent much, mainly because it's difficult to find a place to camp where you feel safe, away and hidden from people. But so many people are just so kind and say, you can camp in the garden or you can stay in the house. So it's been fantastic. Yeah, and Colombia's a beautiful country. I've been here 4 months now.
4 months.
4 months in Colombia. I had to extend my visa because the visa ran out after 3 months. And I'm stuck because of the pandemic. I cannot cross land borders, but it's a beautiful place to be, and you know, I wouldn't mind living here.
And are you doing well with Spanish?
Well, yeah, I'm trying every day. I practice every day, for 2 hours, sometimes 3-4 hours. But it's very hard for me at my age to try to learn a new language. But yeah, every day I get a little better and better. So I'm not fluent, but I can speak and ask for things.
I heard that you are going very, very well on this.
Oh, thank you.
So, Ivan, well, you must have thousands of amazing stories to tell.
Well, yeah, there's lots of stories. It's hard to pick one to tell. I mean, the story where I met the man in a small village in Laos, who lived right near my town. That was an amazing thing. But yeah, I was in Serbia and I found a place to camp outside the city. A big town it was, and I was disturbed by some young men who was about to participate in some illegal drug activity. And I thought I was well hidden, but they saw me, and I asked, is it safe for me to camp here? And I don't know, one of them was very aggressive and said, no, you should get out of this country because it's not a nice place. He wasn't mad with me, he was mad with his situation in the country. And so I packed the tent back up, and I cycled into town. There was only one hotel, but it was too expensive. So I camped in somebody's garden. I waited for the dark to come, and I just slept on my air mattress in the garden under an apple tree in my sleeping bag. And when I awoke in the morning, I went to get up like this, and I was covered in slugs. I don't know if you know what the slugs are, and
No.
the slug is like the snail with the shell, but the slug doesn't have the shell, and yeah, and I was covered in them. You know, they're all slimy and yeah, and so I set off, and the first place I found to camp, a campsite, I spent all day cleaning the sleeping bag and all the slime off my mattress and sleeping bag. That was one of my worst nights. But yeah, I've had lots of, you know, I've had to sleep in parks and bus stops sometimes because I can't find accommodation, and you know the weather's bad. So yeah, but most times, you know, you can find a cheap hotel or a place to camp. So it's only odd times where, yeah, you're in a bus stop or a park on a bench, you know. So, but I camped for 4 months every night in the tent in Japan. I was in Japan for 4 months, and yeah, it was fantastic there. The people, it's got to be the safest country in the world, I think, in my opinion. Fantastic, and all the people are so nice. And yeah, it's an expensive country, but if you camp every night in the parks, all the parks have toilets and water. The water you can drink, you don't have to buy bottled water. So it's quite a cheap place to cycle to in Japan, because you're not using public transport or spending money on hotels. So you can travel cheap in Japan on the bicycle.
I'm a great admirer of Japan culture.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So, Ivan, I would like to ask you a few other things.
Yeah.
What did bring you here? I mean, how did you find this place, Casa de Ciclista?
Well, I got stuck in Costa Rica for 10 months because the borders were closed, and every month people was...
After pandemics, everything changed.
Yeah. In 1 month the border will open, but I waited 10 months and the border never opened. So I took an aeroplane from Costa Rica to Colombia, and I found out about Casa de Ciclista from a warm shower host who said, you must go to Medellín and stay at Manuel's place because it's fantastic.
The best place of...
Oh yeah. And I found the website, I found the Facebook page and read about it, and I thought, yeah, I have to go there. But I met lots of cyclists, and everybody, not around here, I mean all over Colombia, everybody knows about this place. And you must go to Casa de Ciclista in Medellín. So yeah, I always wanted to come here. It took me 3 months to get here because I was traveling from Cartagena. You know, I saw many different places. I went to Bogota, and then after Bogota I made my way here. Yeah, and I've been here now for 2 weeks. But I cycle every day in the mountain, most days, and
great place to
I don't want to leave because it's fantastic. It's great. Yeah, I love it here. It's so beautiful. All the mountains, and the roads are quiet. You can cycle on the roads and not with much traffic, so it's very quiet and it's fantastic. I love it
here. The people here
are very nice.
Very nice.
Nice, kind, yeah. Muy amable, as they say. Yeah, very, very kind, very nice. Yeah, Manuel and his wife Marta have helped me with the bicycle. I've done a couple of repairs, and yeah, Manuel's a great mechanic, and they have a shop in Prado in town, a bike shop with anything you want, bike racks, even panniers, which are difficult to get hold of in this part of the world, but Yeah, they have everything. So it's a great place.
It's a reference to all bike travelers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would say, you have to come here to have a rest, and it's a fantastic place
So,
to be.
Ivan, I would like to ask you one last thing.
Yes?
What would you say to those people who always wanted to do this kind of travel but are afraid or hesitate for some reason?
Yeah, this happened to me. I didn't want to leave because it's the fear of the unknown. So some people love adventure and can't wait to go, but I was a little scared. I was on my own. I was 56 years old and thinking, what if? And I can say the first step out of the house with the bicycle is the hardest. After the first day, you will love it, and you hear stories. This could happen to you, that can happen. I've had nothing but good times and fantastic adventure for 3 years. This is why I keep going, because it's just such a great adventure travelling on the bicycle. So don't hesitate, just do it and you will love it. Yeah, not every day is a piece of cake and fantastic, you have bad days as well, but the good times outweigh the bad times, and it's just so fantastic. You don't hesitate, just do it. Yeah, it's hard to first leave, but you're very apprehensive and have a fear of the unknown. But it only lasts for one day. After one day, you can't wait to keep going, and never stop. This is my experience.
Very impressive, Ivan. I'd like to thank you very much for this little interview, my friend.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Con mucho gusto.
Well, thank you everybody. You're welcome to Casa de Ciclista with Manuel and with all people very kindly here to receive you bike travelers. Bye bye.